Let me hear you. Let me see you on. Let me see you. Let me see you here, virtual. Let me see virtual right here. I see you, Marie. I see you, Tracy. Kimberly. Let me see. Hey, let me see Houston. I see you right here, Houston. Where you at, Houston? Let me see you, Houston. Where are you guys at? Come on. Let me see everybody. Marie, Rhonda, Sean. I see all of Houston in the house. I'm supposed to be with you guys in Houston. Listen, I am so excited to be here. I am so excited to be here. I wished I could be there. I've had this commitment in Miami, Florida for about 9 months. And so when John and I started talking, what he just did right there was the same thing that he did the first time that we talked, which is gave me goosebumps. Like, trust those goosebumps. When you get goosebumps, trust goosebumps. Like, actually be in that moment and ask yourself the question, why did I just get goosebumps? And I just ask that question. Every time I get goosebumps, I ask the question, why did that just happen? And I'm going to tell you why I believe it just happened right now. Because the way that John and Jack, I haven't had the honor to meet Jack yet, represent this amazing company. He doesn't think I know TLC. Ooh. I don't know it like they know it. I haven't put in the blood, tears, sweat, many years, decades of time that they have. But I know that in my due diligence of this company, this is a story, and we're going to talk about your story today. But let's go talk about your company's story for a quick second. Do you realize that trust reviews, 4.5, 2,100 reviews of this company and its products? A+ rating on the business, the Better Business Bureau. I read the success stories on your website. When's the last time you read the success stories on your website? You want to be motivated and inspired? Go read one of those stories a day. You guys have a founder who I have not got to meet. You've got John. That's an easy story to tell. You've got products that are changing people's lives. You've got a business opportunity that is giving people the opportunity to make more money, replace an income that might have been lost, supplement for their families. Like, this story of TLC is a really easy story to tell. It's a really, really easy story to tell. It's a powerful story. So why did I get goosebumps, John? I got goosebumps because of the fact that the leadership at this company is unbelievable. That's why I got goosebumps. You guys are being led by two amazing men. And I know this because my dear friend Stormy Wellington told me about them. It's one thing to talk. It's another thing to be a demonstration. And so as I met both of these people, or I met John, not Jack, just a demonstration of them is unbelievable. And so Stormy Wellington, thank you. If y'all know Stormy in the house, give her a little love, but thank you for introducing me to John, because I feel like John is a friend for a long time. And this is what I want to do today. This is my intention today. What's your intention today? What's your intention? I should have made a stronger intention around my dance moves, because as DJ was playing the Tootsie Roll, I tried to go back to the Tootsie Roll a little bit, and I called Stormy. I'm like, Stormy, you got to remind me how to do the Tootsie Roll a little bit. Like, yeah, keep it right there. That's perfect. But my intention today, if I don't have an intention, when you don't have an intention, it's because you're running so fast, or you might be asleep to the importance of this moment right here. Nothing outside of, I'm in my hotel room right now. Nothing outside of my hotel room matters right now except for you. My intention is for the words that come out of your mouth that represent this amazing company and that represent your story. My intention is for those words to become the most powerful words that you have. Yes, for TLC, but in your life in general. I want to help you understand how to be a world-class communicator today. I want to help you understand how to get your story out to the world. where you represent this amazing, you already do an incredible job of representing this amazing company. I've met so many of you in Miami, and I've met so many of you online, and I've met now a bunch of new friends today. But my intention is for the words that come out of your mouth to draw people into TLC and not push them away. And to draw people who are like you and who aren't like you. It's easier to attract or draw people who are made like you, wired like you, come from the background like you. You become dangerous, powerful, when the words that come out of your mouth can attract people who aren't like you and are like you. I got to see the power of one message. I got to see the power of one message. You see, one of the things that connected John and I is that I was a youth pastor, 23 years old. And before I was a youth pastor, what I would want you to know is that I grew up in the inner city of Dallas, Texas. Mom and dad, and you can leave the camera exactly there. Mom and dad had a terrible relationship. Inner city of Dallas. I was getting an opportunity last night. I was with Floyd Mayweather last night, and we were talking about both of our inner city experiences. He shared his story in such a profound and powerful way last night. And I was just sharing my story of growing up in Dallas, in the hood. And my parents got a divorce. My grandmother took me away from my dad. I lived with my dad for a little bit, but my grandmother took me away from my dad because of the things that my dad was doing to me. And so at 13, my dad got taken away from me. My grandmother took me in. She raised me, one of my heroes today. And I remember my dad coming back into my life when I was 13, 14, 15, 16 years old. And anybody who has a broken relationship with a family member, especially a parent, my heart goes out to you because I had that with both of my parents. And I want you to see the power of your words today. They create life or they create death. They draw more people into this amazing company or they push people away from this amazing company. They draw people into you as a leader or push people away because you aren't being powerful in your leadership. Today, my intention has everything to do with this side of the coin. Powerful, life-giving words that will draw more people in than you've ever drawn in before. Convert more people than have ever been converted before. You see, from 13 to 18 years old, we tried everything to get my dad to simply say he's sorry, to tell me that he loved me, to ask for forgiveness. And the issue was the way that his family, his brothers, his sisters, I come from a Mexican family. I've got 8 aunts and 7 aunts and uncles. My dad is one of 8. His 7 siblings tried to recruit him. Let's use that terminology today. His mom and dad tried to recruit him. You might say into a network marketing company? No. Into saying that he was sorry, into saying that he loved me, to apologizing, but nothing worked. Because they were speaking to his head and not to his heart. They were trying to tell him these things that he needed to do, but they didn't wake him up and speak to his heart. And so my dad tried to do something kind of noble. He never said he was sorry. He never apologized. He knew I was going off to college. I was going to be lucky to make it through college. One of the first people in my family to graduate from college. And my dad bought me a car. He bought me like a 1992 Toyota Corolla. I remember it. Thought, man, that's cool of him. Until my first week on the college campus when I went out because I was a collegiate tennis player and I went out to go to tennis practice that day. And my car had been repossessed because my dad hadn't made the payment. You want to talk about driving a deeper wedge between me and my father? That drove a deeper wedge between me and my father. I just want you to know, like I hated my dad. And I remember thinking, like, how am I going to make it through college? TLC, network marketing, a lady who went to my church, knew about the circumstances that were going on in my life. She paid for me to join the company, but not before she had me make a commitment to what I would do to show up for this company. And I promised her, I was like, listen, Lori, I will do everything you say. And I joined this amazing company back in 1997, 96, 97. And what I want you to know today is that network marketing was the thing that allowed me to get through college. It allowed me to get through college. I am so grateful for this powerful industry. Listen, there's a lot of people out there that have different views of this industry. I think it's one of the most beautiful industries in the world because it gives people the opportunity. When you can communicate what this amazing company is all about, it gives people opportunities and possibilities that just don't exist. And so I went through college. I got through college. I want to get a little bit of a wider view here, just a little bit of a wider view here, guys, if you can come back, because I want to see some of the people back here too. And that's okay. Thank you. And here's what I want you to know. That's perfect. Here's what I want you to know. I had an incredible business opportunity out of college. I had a business degree. My pastor called me and he said, Pete, our youth group is falling apart. We need you to come back home and take over as youth pastor. I'm like, Pastor, I don't have any Bible training. I don't have any theology training. Like, no way. He's like, yeah, but you will love kids and you will recruit more kids and change more kids' lives. Yes, I'm using the word recruit by design. And I said, okay, I'll consider it. I had this $80,000 job in Dallas. And I said, how much is the pay? He said, $18,000. I said, man, I know I'm supposed to be there. And I went home to Hereford, Texas. I took over that youth group. I was the first day there. Jory, Stacy, and Mackenzie were the only 3 girls there. I looked those 3 girls in the eye and I said, girls, we are going to grow this youth group. It was the highest rated teenage pregnancy rate, I believe, per capita in the country for teenagers. It was one of the highest. It was one of the highest suicide rates. It was it had all of these statistics that were bad. But it had a guy that was completely committed to changing that. I looked them in the eyes. I communicated them. I told them that we were going to bring in powerful speakers that would change their lives. And little by little, the youth group grew from 3 to 800 kids in the course of 4 years. Kids' lives were completely changed. And if we can bring up people who are actually cameras are on, guys, turn your cameras on virtually. I want to see you virtually, man. I want to see your faces. I want to see you in Houston. I want to see I created a setup here because I want to be with you guys today. I am with you guys today. I'm nowhere else today. I had one of the biggest stages of my life today that I spoke on here in Miami, one of the biggest. And when John said, I want you here, I said, absolutely, John, because I want people to understand what it takes to win people over, to win them over and not push them out away. So we grew this youth group. One of the speakers that came in, his daughter was the first girl killed at Columbine back in 1999. She died. She left her family with 6 diaries and a paper called My Ethics, My Codes of Life that she wrote for her 5th period English class. One of my mentors said, you have to bring this guy in, Pete, because he will change your community. So grateful that Stormy let John know about me, and I hope today I can change your perspective on communication. And so I hired this guy. I brought him in. He spoke to the kids during the day, and the kids' minds were completely transformed. Their hearts were completely transformed. I was crying. I was weeping. I was thinking, I've got to do whatever it takes to bring my dad back here tonight because my dad and I don't have a good relationship. And I'm 23 years old, and he has not made amends with me, and neither has my mom. And so I brought my dad back that night. And Daryl said, parents, on April 20th, 1999, after he gave his entire talk, he said, on April 20th, 1999, we're 3 days from the anniversary of the Columbine shooting. He said, I had no idea that would be the last day that I ever saw my daughter. He asked the question, and I'm going to ask you this question. How many parents are out there? I'm curious. And how many kids do you have? Like in chat, I want to know the chat in Houston. How many kiddos do you have? I want to see the 2, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2. Let's see what the biggest number is. 5. 5's the biggest number. 5, 6. I didn't say grandchildren. Don't be trying to cheat. If iPhone really has 10, man, get iPhone something. Let's get iPhone a gift from me. 4, 13. Ruth's got 13. I mean, your whole network, TLC should blow up. Darrell, you really got 22? 22? This is what Daryl said. He said, imagine waking up and not realizing that you're not going to see your kid today ever again. He said, no parent should ever have to go through that. He said, parents, I had no idea that was going to be the last day. You have no idea how many days you have left here on earth with your kids. He said, I'm going to encourage you tonight, whether your kids are here or they're somewhere else, go tell them how much you love them. And then he did something that changed my life forever. He said, some of you parents, you need to ask for forgiveness for something you've done to your kids. My dad was sitting on the back row. That day, my dad didn't say a word. He left the auditorium. I was pissed off. Why was I pissed off? Because if this could not get his attention, nothing was going to get his attention. And there's a lot of you that feel that way today. I'm doing the reps, I'm putting in the time, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, but I'm not seeing exactly what I want to see happen. And I'm asking you to be patient because it's right around the corner. And the way that you communicate could be the one thing that would be the breakthrough for you. Because 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail from my dad. And my dad said this, I'm sorry for the father I've been. Here my son is having an impact on hundreds of kids' lives, and I can't have an impact on my only son's life. I'm asking you for a second chance to do things right. And he told me that he loved me for the first time in a really, really, really long time. One person's message communicated the correct way, the powerful way, the way that so many people don't do it. And so many people in network marketing don't do it. The people I've met at TLC, they're different. John, different. Stormy, different. I'm like, yes, they understand this. They understand the element of connecting with the heart and not trying to lead with the mind. Lead with the mind with the wrong things. Guys, that day changed my life. Today, my dad is the most amazing father in the world. But he's the most amazing grandfather in the world. Why? Because one person finally got it right. Everybody else was doing it wrong. his brothers, his sisters, his parents, his friends, me. And then finally, one person understood the most powerful form of communication that exists in this world. And we have now helped tens of thousands of people across the world understand how to communicate where you speak life into people and you draw them in and not death or not things that turn them off. And that's all I mean by death. Like you're either speaking powerfully, not powerfully, life or death. And what I want you to do is I want you to be able to make the way that you communicate the most powerful thing that you do. And so today, I want to share a framework with you that I believe will be transformational for every single person. Does that sound cool? Houston, does that sound cool? Can I share that? Virtual, can I share that? Where's my Houston crew? Can we go back to the first page? Where's my Houston crew? Can the camera folks show me the Houston crew too? Let's bring up the Houston crew. Where are they at? They're right here, right there. Let's go to the TLC. Let me see them. Can y'all turn the camera back to the Houston crew? Can y'all blow that one up right there? Yeah. Houston, let me see you. I'm seeing myself. It's going to have, all right. I hear you, Houston. I hear you. I love it. I love it. They're crazy. I mean, it's loud there. It's loud. So I want to help you understand something today. And I'm going to get into doing a little bit of artistic drawing. I'm not a drawer, but I'm going to get into this because this becomes really, really important. There are what I call the 3 deadly C's. And I want to tell you, there's the 3 powerful C's. And my experience of the 2 people that I personally met in this company, they live in this domain. But I want you to understand these C's. And then I'm going to give you a framework to really do it. I'm going to give you a powerful, powerful framework to really do it. Cool? Okay. So, deadly C number 1 in the way that you communicate and people on the other side experience you is you being cash driven. That you're looking at them like a dollar sign. There's too many people that I have met that they're looking at people like a dollar sign. They're not looking at them like a human who needs help, who needs you. When people feel like a dollar sign, they will never buy. Mark that down. When people feel like they're a dollar sign, they will never buy. What's the opposite, Pete? Like, this is not what I want you living in. What's the opposite? The opposite is connection. Stormy, you know what we're talking about here. And I call this human connection. Human connection. When they feel connected to you and your story, it's game changing. It's game changing. You want to know the number one thing missing in our world today is human connection. Do you want to know why I fell in love with John, why I fell in love with Stormy? Because they connected with me. They connected with my heart. And we're going to come back and talk about what drives connection? Story. What story? Your story plus the TLC story. That drives connection. Your story plus the TL story equals human connection. Equals human connection. The other thing, the next thing that I believe a lot of people feel is they feel and they communicate in a cheesy way. In a cheesy way. Listen, I don't want you to raise the wall for a person. Grant Cardone hired me. He licensed this content for me. Licensed this content for me. Why would he license this content for me? Because he sees that it converts and you don't have to feel cheesy, slimy, or sleazy. He licensed it for me because he said, if I would have known this stuff 30 years ago, I would be where I'm at 60, at 40. Did y'all hear that? He would be where he's at today. He's 60 years old when he would have hit the age of 40. He said, not knowing what you're talking about has cost me hundreds of millions of dollars. Don't be the person who's cheesy. So I had a workshop with a group of business owners. And I asked them all, so grateful for Jack John bringing me in, because these folks, for what we're talking about today, they invested like $10,000 to be there. TLC is so committed to your growth. They are so committed to your growth. Can't even tell you. And I asked them for an introduction. I said, in 1 minute, here was my promise to them, and it's my promise to you. I said, in 1 minute, introduce yourself. And by the end of the day, all of you will reintroduce yourself, and this version of yourself will be so much more powerful than this version of yourself. Spent an entire day with them. That was my promise. That was my guarantee. So a girl gets up there. And this is what I see too much in this industry, not in TLC, but in this industry. She said something like this. What if I could show you a way where you could make a lot of money and lose weight? I felt the energy in the room with everybody's walls going up and being guarded. And I stopped there and I said, hey, can I be honest with you? She said, yes. Are you in a network marketing company? She said, how did you know? I'm thinking in my head, how didn't I know? How didn't I know? Like, I said, here's the deal. Imagine this. I won't call her name out. Every person that you interact with that might not be a warm market, but maybe especially a warm market, just pretend that they have an imaginary wall in front of them. And if they feel like you are being cheesy, that wall will get bigger and bigger and bigger. I said, by the end of the day, and then listen, I said, my wall went up right when you said that. But Pete, she's got to recruit more distributors and more customers. Don't worry. Today, don't worry. Don't worry. Today, when I got off of this stage, John, when I got off of the stage, I got a text message. And I'm going to share this text message with you at the end. And the text message will blow your way, because all I did today was provide content to 100 7, 8, and 9-figure business owners in this hotel. Now, I'm going to share it right now. I'm going to share the text right now. I didn't know, and you don't have to, I'm not going to, we don't have to zoom in on it, or I guess we can. I got off stage. I didn't talk about any of my products and services. I literally shared what I'm sharing with you today. And this guy, right when I got off stage, 2 minutes when I got off stage, all right, bro, I'm in. All right, bro, I'm in. Stormy, I am not going to show them the text from you. I won't show them the text from you. I didn't even present my products, my services, my company. I didn't talk about anything except how they could grow their businesses by being more powerful and by doing other things. What is it that has him saying that? It's that he didn't feel like I was being cheesy. He felt, this is the double C, compassion and content, which is also another word for value. He felt compassion and content, meaning he felt like his heart and his head were spoken to. That girl, by the end of the day, at Grant's office, had people in tears. Why? Because she said something like this. Ever since I was a young girl, I have been battling with my weight. I have always been the chubby kid. I was always the one that was overweight. I was always the one that people were making fun of. All of a sudden, people in the audience, like, connecting to her. And it never changed. And when I was 23 years old, or whatever her age was, for the first time in my life, I was able to lose X amount of pounds, and I was been able to keep it off for over a decade. And I wouldn't have been able to do that without X. If I'd have never met my good friend, John, who helped me understand what it meant to have a total life change, to help me understand holistically what it meant to be healthy in mind, body, and spirit. I'd been so concerned about my body that I wasn't concerned about my mind or my spirit. And him and his company helped me to understand how to be holistic in all three areas. This is what it meant in area 1. This is what it meant in area 2. This is what it meant in area 3. And their products changed my life. And now, a decade later, obviously this is not a TLC success story, but I'm inserting TLC here. So I want to step out of character for a second. But now, a decade later, that chubby girl, no longer the chubby girl. She's a girl that is healthy in mind, body, and spirit. People in the room are in tears. 30 to 50 people in the room who had invested $10,000 to be in that room, who were her ideal customers, maybe her ideal distributors. But the first way that she communicated was not the right way. These C's were the right way. These C's. The third C, this one gives me like the opposite of goosebumps. The third C, we can get down on that a little bit, guys. Third deadly C is cocky. Oh, look at this. Look at mine. Look at this. Look at cocky. Listen, cocky, you might say, yeah, but we got to instill something. Yeah, it's not cockiness. It's confidence. There is a big difference between the person who's confident and the person who's cocky. And what I want to spend the next 20 minutes of our time doing is helping you understand how to be more confident in your communication. 20 minutes helping you understand how to be more confident in your communication. If you will be able to connect with your story and TLC's story, if you will be able to show up from a place of compassion and great content. Content does not have to be your products and services. Content is about what your whole company is about. And it just so happens that they have incredible products and services. I'm really mad that they didn't send me an energy thing because the crew gave me a bunch of them in Miami a few weeks ago. And my energy, I couldn't sleep that night. So where's mine? I wanted to take mine when the Hulk Hogan guy was on stage. That guy's in good shape. But you have your products and services. But then listen, confidence. And that's what I want to show you. And as we're doing that, this is real talk. I'm in a hotel and somebody just rang my doorbell. And so you're going to hear me this is real talk right here. Hey, I'm good. I don't need any service. We're good. It's real, right? It's real. It's cool. So let's focus the remainder of our time on this. Cool? Is this good? Is this helpful? Like, what's your big takeaway, virtual? Houston, let me hear you. Maybe they can put some music on and start dancing because this is a company that represents this side. This side. Turn it up. Did they got some music on? Oh, thought I heard some music. Uh-oh, there it is. Uh-oh, there we go. This is what you represent. Cool, you can turn it down. All right, so how do you become more confident? How do you become more confident? I'm going to give you a 4-part framework. John and Jack, I can't wait to meet you. Here's my commitment to you guys. If there is any follow-up that I can do to tonight to serve you, like in any capacity, you guys just let me know. Like, it's an honor for me to be here today. Like, it really is. I want to share the story braid framework. This is trademark framework of my company that has served the biggest names in the world. I believe, and by the way, TLC is the first. I believe that the network marketing company that adopts this framework, and Stormy's already living proof of this, and they incorporate this, they will see more conversion than they've ever seen before. People will be rehearsing in their minds, how do I work with you? Why? Because you're not the girl that started at Grant Cardone's office. You're the gal that finished at Grant Cardone's office. And so I want to share 4 parts, whether you're communicating for 3 minutes on a phone call, 30 minutes online, you're in a one-on-one meeting, one-to-one many, one-to-many, online, offline. Yeah, I represent stages, but today I represent your communication. Every day as you share your message, there's 4 parts to this. And I want to share that with you. The first part of the story braid framework is the heart. Let me tell you why it's called braid. The Bible says a cord of 3 strands cannot be broken. That's like a scripture. A cord of 3 strands are not easily broken. So what are the 3 strands that make up the story braid? The heart, the head, the hands. The problem is most people start with the head, the mind. And I'm telling you to start with the heart. This opening heart, you have 2 main objectives. Human connection. Whether you've battled with your weight, you've battled with your energy, whether you make a joke, whether you dance on stage, whether you share a personal story like I did today, whatever it is who you are, your human connection becomes really, really, really important. Human connection, connecting with the audience, and making the wall begin to go down. Daryl Scott made the wall go down with my dad. Everybody else made the wall go up with my dad. That's the first part of the opening part. The second part, this is where you and TLC come into play. People want to know that you understand what it's like to walk in their shoes. They want to understand your ordinary story. They want to know that you know what it's like to be in their shoes. But they also want to know that you're extraordinary. That you've gone somewhere that they desired to go. Your story connected to the TLC story. The stuff I've read in the last 24 to 48 hours on this company, the reviews, the 5-star ratings, the perfect score with the Better Business Bureau, the success stories, like, oh my gosh, you're connected to an amazing story. But it's your story of going from ordinary to extraordinary and connecting that back to the TLC story. Here is the mistake that many of you will make. But I'm not extraordinary like so-and-so. But I'm not extraordinary like so-and-so. Well, so-and-so might just be in chapter 14 of the book, and you're still in chapter 3. But the person who's trying to actually start that first chapter of their life needs you. You're extraordinary to them. Stop comparing yourself to everybody else. 5 years ago, I was on chapter 2. But man, I served people like crazy who were trying to write chapter 1. It's a metaphor, obviously. It's not about a book. It's about writing their story, changing their ordinary to become extraordinary. So don't let this word get in the way of you comparing yourself to somebody else. The opening heart. The second part is the head. The problem with too many people with my dad is they tried to start here and they never could recruit him. They tried to start here. The first person who started here, when you start here, when you do this well, their minds are opened to listen. Their minds are open to listen. So what do you want to do? This is the place where you get to tell the TLC story. How did you go from there to there? Mind, body, spirit, which obviously equaled an incredible opportunity and incredible products. Yes, you have incredible opportunity. Yes, you have great products. But people want to understand the journey of providing some good content. You guys represent, and this might not be the exact way, but man, that's what this event is all about. And everything that I've heard from John in my 3 conversations with him is you guys help people with their mind, their body, and their spirit. The amount of things that this company does to help their people grow in all of the domains of their life, that is what the world needs. And it just so happens that many of them are going to say, I want to be a part of this opportunity and or I want to buy these products. They will rehearse in their heads, I've got to work with you. The third part, don't worry, I saved the green. What's green represent, everybody? What's green represent? What's green? Come on, Darrell. I see you. What's green represent? Well, man, one of these young ladies was dancing like crazy. I was like, hey, yeah, that's what it represents. 3, the call to action. The call to action. The call to action. It's the next step. Hop on the call with me. Tell them about your products. Help them understand about the opportunity. I love for you to focus on one call to action. Different circumstances will allow for different calls to action. It's depending on the circumstance and the scenario. Today, I couldn't talk about my products and services at all. So I said, hey, anybody that wants to hop on a phone call with me, pick my brain over the weekend about any of this stuff I taught you, just hit me up. Let's do it. And guess what? When you do this well and you do this well, they will take you up on that. They will take you up on that. That's the third piece, is the call to action. And then guys, the fourth and final piece is we end how we started. Man, if you guys can get this, everybody in the internet marketing space, and yeah, that's great. Everybody in the internet marketing space told me, you end with the call to action. Like, have them like sign up or register or get on a call with you or whatever. And I said, no, I end the way that I started. This is what I call the reinforcing story. The reinforcing story. Why everything you've talked about today is so important. It's the reinforcing story. How your life is different because of what you shared with them. It's the closing heart. The closing heart. The reinforcing story. You want to know what this is? This is the connection story. This is the reinforcing story. So let me demonstrate. When I usually close out my talks, and I'm not going to close it out this way today, but when I usually close out my talks, I talk about my dad and I struggle. And yeah, here we go. My dad and I struggle. And then I close it out by saying, 3 years ago when Grant Cardone asked me to speak in front of 30,000 people in Miami Marlins Stadium, I was the only person who wasn't a famous person, but he just knew how impactful my content would make on his tribe and on his community. And when I spoke at the end of that presentation, I talked about the father that my dad is today, and I talked about the grandfather that he is today. And then I bring up a picture normally, and it's my dad, and I share that my dad, at the end of that presentation, Grant brought him up, put him on the big screen, and he was in tears as I got to honor the dad that he was today and not the father that he once was. And my dad was in tears and he was crying and the stadium erupted. It was the first time that my dad had ever heard me speak before. And I said, guys, none of that would have been possible had it not been for somebody that knew how to communicate powerfully. Do you see how I just reinforced communicating powerfully and how my life is different because of it? Your life is different because of your story being connected to the TLC story. It makes it different. And you give me 3 minutes, you give me 10 minutes, you give me 30 minutes. When I use the story braid framework, heart, head, hands, heart, it's game changing. It communicates people and it draws them in. It doesn't push them away. It gives them life and not death. That's what it does. So powerful. It's so profound. When Grant Cardone said, not knowing this cost me hundreds of millions of dollars. Cool on the money, but what about the impact? I could tell you a dozen people's names that you all would know that said once they adopted this corporate-wide, individually-wide, they saw conversions go through the roof, and they did it with the greatest integrity that they've ever had. Most powerful that they've ever had. When you communicate powerfully, you will bring life into other people and they will want to work with you. I want to close with the story, and I'm going to bring whoever's coming up to the stage. I'm so grateful to be with you guys today. Committed to you guys. Whatever I can do to help you guys, I'm so grateful. So I have 4 kids, and you can keep it right there. I have 4 kids. My wife and I, our 3 oldest are adopted. 13 boy, 11 girl, 8-year-old girl. And then 2 years ago, we had a miracle baby. We were told we would never have kids. My wife's had lupus. She's almost passed away 2 times. She's lost her kidney. We were going to try in vitro. They wouldn't even take our money because they said 0% chance of having a kid. So it was kind of a surprise when she walked in 2 years ago and said, I'm pregnant for the first time in our 17 years of marriage at the time. So miracle baby. Everybody thinks of Shiloh as our miracle baby. But I think of our 3rd as our miracle baby. Her name is Emma. And parents, Emma was born at 1.3 pounds, 23 weeks. Her mom was a druggie in jail. Emma's twin sister died right away. Emma was in ICU all by herself for 6 months. Nothing, no parents, no loved ones, nobody holding her. And finally, when they let her out, there was a foster mom that took her in. And this foster mom said, any baby that is not supposed to make it, I want them coming into my home. That is her calling. That's what she does for a living. Because she said, I'm going to love them so powerfully that they're either going to get better or they're going to leave this earth knowing that they were loved. And one of our friends from church said, there's this sweet little girl named Emma. And you guys need to go meet her. And so we went and met Emma on her 11 months. She had been in this foster lady's house for a good time. And my wife and I looked at each other and we said, we're supposed to adopt that sweet little girl. Now we were scared because our first baby girl that was adopted, we adopted a little black girl, and Kim and I named her Emma. And so all of a sudden, when this new Emma comes into our world, we're like, is that a sign we didn't name this one. Is that a sign, or are we supposed to stay away because we don't want to lose another baby? That was the fear that came over us. We don't want to lose another baby. We don't. And Kim and I looked at each other and we said, we're adopting this baby girl. We took her to the doctors. She was on oxygen 24/7. The doctors told us she would probably never walk. She would never talk. She would maybe not be off of oxygen, and she might not live to be 2 years old. And my wife did not buy into that. Every single night, my wife would tell Emma, she is clothed in strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. And she'd come in the next night. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. She came back even after going through an almost losing Emma bout in the emergency room. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. Finally, it was Emma saying, I am clothed with strength and dignity, and I laugh without fear of the future. Today, she's 8 years old. She's running. She's talking. She is the boss of my household, and she is my little freaking princess. Everything that should have happened, that they told us would happen, didn't happen. You know what I believe? Yeah, I believe it's the power of prayer and the power of God. Like I am a man of faith. My relationship with God is the most important relationship in my life. But I also believe that my wife speaking powerfully spoke life into Emma. And then Emma started speaking powerfully back to her. You want to see your business rocked? You want to see your personal life transformed? Like you want to see all areas of your life up-leveled? Begin to become a powerful communicator who follows this process. Begin to speak life into other people, and then they also will begin to duplicate and begin to be life-giving folks that represent this amazing company all across the world. Thank you for letting me be here with you today. I love you guys. Stormy, thank you for introducing me to these amazing men, both John and Jack. I look forward to meeting you. And man, just appreciate you guys. I hope you can hear me there in Houston, John.